The Mongol Empire, a name whispered with a mix of awe and terror. From the Pacific Ocean to the plains of Eastern Europe, the largest contiguous land empire in history cast a long shadow. At its heart, a dynasty forged in the fires of nomadic brilliance and relentless ambition. Among these conquerors, a name rises with a fearsome resonance: Hulagu Khan, grandson of the legendary Genghis Khan. Hulagu was born into a world already consumed by the fires of Mongol conquest. His grandfather's armies had carved a path of destruction and subjugation across Asia, but Hulagu was not destined to merely inherit victory. He would write his own chapter in blood and fire. He would become the scourge of Persia, the destroyer of the Islamic Golden Age, and yet, in a strange twist of history, a bridge between cultures. Hulagu's story is not just about the clash of swords and the toppling of empires. It is a study in contrasts, a glimpse into the heart of a man who could be both ruthless conqueror and reluctant patron of the arts. His tale is a stark reminder that history is rarely black and white, but rather a tapestry woven from threads of brutality, ambition, and unexpected change. The steppes of Mongolia were Hulagu's first cradle. Born in 1217, he entered a world where horsemanship and warfare were not skills, but ways of life. The Mongols, under Genghis Khan, had built their empire on a foundation of military discipline and unmatched equestrian prowess. Young Hulagu, like all Mongol nobles, learned to ride before he could walk, to shoot arrows from the saddle with deadly accuracy. His early life was a harsh tutorial in survival and dominance. The steppes were an unforgiving teacher, weeding out the weak and forging the strong. Hulagu thrived in this environment, displaying the same tactical mind and ruthless ambition that had made his grandfather a legend. But Hulagu's education extended beyond the battlefield. He was tutored in languages, mathematics, and the burgeoning sciences of the conquered lands. This thirst for knowledge, this curiosity about the wider world, would later set him apart from many in the Mongol elite. It hinted at the complex figure he would become, a man capable of both orchestrating massacres and patronizing libraries. In 1251, Hulagu received a fateful summons. His brother Mongke, now Great Khan of the Mongol Empire, tasked him with a mission of unprecedented scope: conquer Persia and subdue the Islamic world. Hulagu embraced this challenge with characteristic zeal. He assembled a vast army, a force more formidable than any Persia had ever seen. His first target, the legendary Order of the Assassins, a secretive sect of Shia Islam that had long terrorized the region. Operating from impregnable mountain fortresses, the assassins were masters of espionage and assassination, their names striking fear into the hearts of sultans and caliphs alike. But Hulagu, a pragmatist above all else, saw them as an obstacle to be removed, not feared. Hulagu's campaign against the assassins was a study in contrasts. He combined brute force with cunning strategy. He laid siege to their mountain strongholds, employing Chinese siege engineers and gunpowder weapons to devastating effect. But he also recognized the importance of psychological warfare. He offered lenient terms to those who surrendered, driving a wedge between the assassins and their demoralized followers. By 1256, the once feared Order of the Assassins was no more. Their fortresses shattered, their power broken. With the assassins vanquished, Hulagu set his sights on a far grander prize: Baghdad, the jewel of the Islamic world. The Abbasid Caliphate, rulers of Baghdad for centuries, had grown decadent and weak, riven by internal strife. They presented a tempting target for Hulagu's ambitions. In 1258, the Mongol horde descended upon Baghdad. What followed was one of the most infamous episodes in medieval history. For weeks, the city's defenders held out against the Mongol onslaught, but the outcome was never in doubt. Hulagu's army, a well-oiled machine of destruction, breached the walls and unleashed a torrent of violence upon the city. Libraries, mosques, and palaces were put to the torch. In a single week, Baghdad, once a beacon of learning and culture, was reduced to smoldering ruins. The Caliph, al-Mustasim, was executed, his death marking not just the end of a dynasty, but the symbolic collapse of the Islamic Golden Age. News of Baghdad's sack sent shockwaves through the Islamic world and beyond. Hulagu Khan had become a figure of terror, his name synonymous with unimaginable destruction. Yet even as Hulagu celebrated his victory amidst the ruins of Baghdad, a new threat emerged from the south. The Mamluks, a powerful slave army based in Egypt, prepared to challenge Mongol dominance in the region. Led by their Sultan Qutuz and his brilliant general Baybars, the Mamluks represented the last bastion of organized resistance against the Mongol advance. The two armies clashed at Ain Jalut, a strategic crossroads in Palestine, in 1260. It was a battle that would decide the fate of the Middle East. Hulagu, for the first time in his life, faced an enemy that matched his own in discipline and ferocity. The Mamluks, masters of desert warfare, used cunning tactics and surprise attacks to harry the Mongol flanks. The battle raged for hours, a brutal back-and-forth struggle, but the Mongols, accustomed to sweeping victories, found themselves on the back foot. Then, fate intervened. News reached Hulagu that his brother, the great Khan Monkey, had died in far-off China. This news and the power struggle it implied back in the Mongol heartland forced Hulagu to withdraw the bulk of his forces, leaving a smaller contingent to continue the fight. The Mamluks, seizing their opportunity, pressed their attack, routing the remaining Mongol army and securing a decisive victory. Ain Jalut was a watershed moment. It marked the first major defeat suffered by the Mongols since the rise of Genghis Khan, shattering the aura of invincibility that had surrounded their armies. While Hulagu would remain a formidable force in the region, his dreams of conquering all of Islam lay in ruins. The Mongol Empire, once seemingly unstoppable, had reached its western limit. For Hulagu, Ain Jalut was a bitter pill to swallow. He had tasted defeat, and the experience left an indelible mark. He remained in Persia, consolidating his gains and rebuilding his army, but the fire of westward expansion had been extinguished. His focus shifted, his ambitions taking a different turn. The Mongol Empire, vast as it was now fractured. Hulagu's branch, known as the Ilkhanate, would rule Persia and its surrounding territories for generations, but it would be a realm apart, increasingly Persianized in its culture and outlook. Hulagu himself, the conqueror, would undergo a remarkable transformation in the wake of Ain Jalut. Having tasted both unparalleled victory and the bitterness of defeat, Hulagu's character underwent a subtle shift. He remained a ruthless ruler, capable of great cruelty when challenged, but he also displayed a growing fascination with the culture and knowledge of his conquered subjects. He patronized scholars, scientists, and artists, welcoming them into his court. He commissioned libraries and observatories, eager to absorb the intellectual riches of Persia. He even converted to Buddhism, a move that shocked many in the Islamic world. Hulagu, the destroyer of Baghdad, had become a patron of learning, a bridge between the nomadic culture of the steppes and the sophisticated traditions of Persia. This transformation was not entirely altruistic. Hulagu, a shrewd politician as well as a conqueror, understood the importance of legitimacy. By embracing Persian customs and patronizing its intellectuals, he sought to legitimize his rule, to transform himself from a foreign conqueror into a benevolent, if distant, overlord. Hulagu Khan died in 1265, his empire stretching from the Indus River to the Mediterranean Sea. He left behind a mixed legacy. To many in the Islamic world, he remained the scourge of God, the destroyer of Baghdad, his name forever linked to the horrors of the Mongol conquest. He was responsible for untold death and destruction. His armies had shattered empires, sacked cities, and massacred millions. The Sack of Baghdad, in particular, would remain a searing wound in the Islamic psyche for centuries to come. Yet, Hulagu was also a complex figure, a man of contradictions. He was a ruthless conqueror, but also a pragmatic ruler who understood the importance of stability and cultural exchange. His patronage of the arts and sciences helped to preserve and transmit knowledge during a time of great upheaval. Hulagu's reign marked a turning point in the history of the Middle East. It shattered old certainties, redrew political boundaries, and paved the way for the rise of new powers. His descendants, the Ilkhanids, would rule Persia for generations, presiding over a period of relative peace and prosperity. Hulagu Khan's story is a reminder that history is rarely black and white. He was a man of immense ambition and brutality, yet also capable of surprise, tolerance, and intellectual curiosity. He was a destroyer, but also, in a strange twist of fate, a bridge between cultures. His legacy, like the man himself, remains a study in contrasts, a testament to the enduring power of conquest, but also a reminder that even the most destructive forces can, in unexpected ways, contribute to the flow of history and the transmission of knowledge.